Hey, welcome everyone. This is Mike from ZoZoStockWatch.com. This is going to be your Let's Get Ready for the week ahead, March 25th through March 29th. So the markets did a kind of a complete 180 on Friday. A little bit of a rug pull came in on Friday. Some profit taking came in on Friday. The worries here on Friday were that after the PMI numbers came out from Germany and France, that the numbers were showing some contraction, some global slowdown. If you remember earlier in the week, FedEx came out with earnings. It was an earnings miss, and they also warned about the global slowdown on the world economy. We had the trade war discussions that are still going on. The TLT was moving up strong on Friday, so it was kind of a risk-off day in the markets. The Dow Jones fell 460 points on the Dow. The Nasdaq fell 196. The S&P 500 fell 54. The Dow Jones transports were down 233 points on the day. The bond market was flashing this from CNBC, flashing its biggest recession sign since before the financial crisis. The spread between the 3-month and the 10-year Treasury notes has fallen below 10 basis points for the first time since 2007. An inverted yield curve where short-term yields are higher than the long-term counterpart is considered a reliable recession signal. The Federal Reserve this week said the U.S. economy is still strong, but is facing challenges from global weakness. So that was the concerns that were hitting the tape on Friday. So let's go ahead and look at some of the action from Friday. This courtesy of FinViz. This is their heat map on the S&P 500. As you can see, Google was down over 2% on Friday. Facebook was down 1% on Friday. Amazon down 3%. A lot of red on our screens on Friday. Microsoft was down over 2.5%. The banks took a big hit, as you can imagine, with that inverted yield curve and the global slowdown with interest rates. As the TLT was moving up, bond yields were moving down, which is bad for the bank. So JP Morgan down 3%, WFC, Wells Fargo, a lot of the banks down 3-4% on the day. Citi was down almost 5% on the day. Citigroup. So a lot of banks took a hit on Friday. As you can see, red across the screens here. Now some stocks that were up, defensive names like Verizon were up. We had utilities stocks were up. Those are more defensive names. The Pepsi was up about 1%. Coca-Cola also a little more flight to safety here. Coca-Cola up less than 1% on Friday. As you can see here in this visual of the weekly sector performance, like I said, the dividend-paying stocks and sectors moved up as interest rates moved down. Folks were putting money to work in utilities and REITs. We had the XLF taking a hit this week. XLV was down, and the XLB also, the materials names were down for the week. Consumer discretionary XLY was up for the week, and the XLP was also up for the week. The Fear and Greed Index from CNN Business. Remember back in December, January, the extreme fear that we had, we were down at around a 3 on extreme fear, and then we gradually did that V-bottom bounce in the SPY. We got as high as about 70. Now a little bit of steam coming out of the Fear and Greed Index. We're currently at 59 at the moment. So this is the thing that was moving the markets down on Friday, that inverted yield curve that I explained to you at the beginning of the video. It reminds investors that business cycles do have slowdown, so maybe we have to brace for a slower economic growth now, maybe a rough patch coming up for the economies around the world. So this is what the fear is in the markets right now. The inverted yield curve and that business cycles are coming to a slowdown here. Now, what is bad sometimes for the economy can also be good for homeowners and home buyers. Mortgage rates tanked thanks to the Fed Fed, and they could go even lower. So this coming out from CM. So let's go ahead and look at some of the sectors. The KRE, the regional banks, were down about 10% for the week. The TNX, which is your bond yield, that was dropping 5% for the week. IBB dropped 5% for the week. We also had the IWM down over 3% for the week. The IWC moving down 3% for the week. We'll go ahead and look at, we had the VIX. More volatility came into the VIX and the markets, as you can imagine, with that drop on Friday. So the VIX was moving up. JNUG for the week was up 3%. The TLT moved up this week. Now, as the TLT moves up, bond yields move down. So TNX, we'll take a look at that. The 10-year real fast. We'll look at that on our weekly chart. The TNX, as you can see, that interest rates are now at about 2.45% on the 10-year. We were at one point up at 3.20% on bond yields, and now we are currently back down on the yield. So as I said, as the TLT moves up, bond yields move down. Oil for the week, the light sweet crude oil for the week was up about a little under 1% for the week, but back under that $60 a barrel level for light sweet crude oil, WTI. Gold was up fractionally this week. Gold rebounding on the weekly chart, what you're looking at here. Staying within that range, though, right now. Gold from about 110 up to about 127. So we're a little above in the upper range here, holding above the 10 SMA on the weekly chart on gold. JNUG had a good week, up almost 3% on the week for JNUG. We'll take a look at that on the weekly real fast. So JNUG trying to get up above 11 on the junior gold miners and hold above it. We closed a little bit below it for the week at 1081. So JNUG moving up this week. We'll go ahead and look at the SPY on the daily chart here. As you can see, we are getting below the fast-moving averages. We came down and broke below the 20 SMA. So folks are watching this. We also broke that key level, that 2800 level on the SPY. We had a lot of tops back here at around 281. So now we're back below them. We're seeing maybe a fake or false breakout, a possible bull trap here on the markets. That's when you get this fast push up and a breakdown. So this could be a bull trap that's forming here on the SPY. We'll go ahead and look at it on the weekly chart also. Here's our SPY on the weekly chart, kind of a topping tail on the weekly chart. Now we do also get the quarter ending this coming Friday. So the first quarter of 2019 will be coming to an end. So the SPY with this weekly kind of a doji type or inverted hammer here on the SPY weekly. We are still above the 10 SMA here on the SPY, holding above the 34 SMA on the SPY, but a little bit of a indecisive candle here where they pushed us up and then drove us back down. So we'll have to see if we're going to get a continuation week down in the SPY as we are looking at the SPY on the daily chart here again. A lot of folks are targeting maybe back down to the 50 SMA. We have a rising 50 SMA here, and we also have a flat 200 SMA here around 275. So some areas we're going to have to watch going forward, 275, and then maybe around that 50 SMA, which is currently at 273 on the SPY on the daily chart. Now, if you watch the 5 EMA on the daily like I do, a lot of good things start as the markets move above the 5 and the 10 SMAs. We are currently breaking down below the 5 and the 10 SMA and the 20 SMA. So if you believe that these are the start of good things in the SPY as we get above the 5 EMA, EMA and the 10 SMA, well, then we could be getting the reversal of that now as we are breaking down below them. Are we going to get another continuation move down in this market? So a lot of momentum traders, trend traders watch the 5 EMA and the 10 SMA on their daily charts to see when you're getting breakdowns in that, and we are currently getting a breakdown in those moving averages. We keep our eye on the IWM. It is a leading indicator. As you can see on the weekly chart here, the IWM has been struggling while the SPY and the Dow Jones have been moving up. As you can see with the IWM on the weekly chart here, we are back below the 10 SMA on the weekly chart. So does that mean that the rest of the markets will be following the IWM? The IWC is also below the 10 SMA on our weekly chart. The Dow Jones transports are also breaking below the 10 SMA. The Dow Jones 30 is holding above the 10 SMA, but coming back down to it on the weekly chart here on the Dow. We're back below that 26,000, or that 26,000 was a resistance spot, and then we have the 25,000 area for the Dow. But right now we are pulling back to about the 10 SMA on the weekly chart for the Dow. All right, let's get into some of the best stocks that passed for the week that passed. So we have DERM up almost 90% for the week. DERM, good news on their phase 2. It met primary endpoints, so that stock had a very good week. MTFB, this stock moved up 42% for the week on MTFB. We'll meet with the FDA on May 3rd to discuss their CRL, which is their complete response letter from the FDA from last month. So that stock moved up 42%. NVRO had a good week, a very good week, up 42% on NVRO. AVID, a strong week that passed, up 12% for the week. PTGX had a very strong week, up 19% on the week. VFF over in the cannabis space, very strong move up this week, up 14% for the week on VFF. NE had a very good week, up 29% for the week on this one. This is a Brazilian fintech company. They had earnings come out this past week, so they liked what they heard, and that stock was moving up, had a very strong week. DARE had a very strong week, up 83% for the week on DARE. SRNE had a very strong week, up 155% on the week on this biotech. NDRA also climbing this week, up about 37% for the week. Home Depot closed up this week, up almost 4% on the week on Home Depot. PZZA, Shaq getting involved in this name. The stock moved up 6% for the week on PZZA. MU had their earnings come out this week. Stock moved up 5% for the week. Tiffany had earnings come out on Friday. The stock moved up 7% for Tiffany's after their good earnings report. HIBB climbing 17% on this name after they released earnings on Friday. AMD had a strong week this week, up 13% for the week. SOLO, a Canadian electric vehicle maker, this stock jumped 34% for the week. FUV also climbing 20% for the week on FUV. FCSC, they had their phase 3 data will be coming out on this name. Phase 3 data will be coming out on this name. Also, they have their earnings will be coming out on the 27th of March. So 27th of March for FCSC earnings. Stock was jumping 32% for the week. ZEAL, collaboration with ALXN for $25 million in upfront money for Zeal. This stock moving up 16% for the week. So that's some of your best stocks for the week. Some of your worst stocks for the week that passed, we had discouraging news from Biogen. Their phase 3 with Alzheimer's, they're going to be discontinuing that, unfortunately. And this stock dropped 34% for the week. OGEN, they did an offering. This stock was down 30% for the week. All the banks were getting hit this week on the interest rates. JP Morgan down 6%. You had Citigroup down over 6%. Bank America losing about 8% for the week. Some regional banks, Zion, took a hit of about 11% for the week. HBAN also dropping this week about 11%. So the banks took a real hit this week as interest rates were moving down. Monster Beverage had a bad week this week, down 11% for the week on MNST. Boeing continued weakness in this name, down over 4%. TLRY came out with earnings on Monday. For the week, this stock was down 7% for the week. OSTK also had earnings come out this past Monday. The stock dropped 10% down for the week. GES had earnings come out. Stock dropped almost 20% on the week. CSIQ over in the solar sector was down 19.5% for the week. Nike had earnings come out on Thursday. This stock dropped 5% for the week. JKS released their earnings, another solar company, on Friday. Stock dropped 11% for the week. CNAT did not meet endpoints in its phase 2. This stock dropped 52% for the week. ZUO had earnings come out. This stock dropped 11% for the week. HEAR had earnings a couple of weeks ago, continues to move down. This stock down 16% for the week. Ameren down this week, down about 14% for the week. ARPO, their phase 2 did not meet primary endpoints for ARPO. This stock dropped over 74% for the week. UROV, phase 3 released, and there were some issues in their phase 3. So UROV stock dropped 20% for the week. So that's some of your worst stocks for the week. Here's your 5-minute chart of the SPY pre-post market chart. So for the week, we started out well. For Monday, we gapped up. We were moving up. Then we're moving into the Fed FOMC meeting on Wednesday. So we were getting some selling into that. The release comes out that the Fed is not going to raise rates, that the Fed was going to be very dovish, did not see needing to raise rates for all of 2019. So the market popped on that. Then we kind of sold off a bit. The following day, Thursday, we were nonstop up all day on Thursday in the SPY. We came up to about this 285 area on the SPY. And then the global slowdown news was starting to hit the tape. And then Friday was a complete sell-off all day, right into the after hours on Friday. So that's your SPY, the action for the week, with a very weak close, underselling pressure all day on Friday. So a bad day and close to the markets on Friday. We do have the Apple event coming up on the 25th of March, which is Monday. The Fed basically, a huge 180 by the Fed. They were raising rates in 2018, and now they say they are done for all of 2019. And that put a little worry into the markets as this global slowdown and fear came out for the markets, possible recession that could be coming for the economy. And so the selling pressure just persisted on Friday. All right, so having said all that bad news, we are getting news over the weekend now. This coming from Bloomberg News. China officials tap lower tariffs, debt sales to aid growth. So this coming out of China over the weekend. The trade talks will still be going on between President Trump and the team with China. So those talks are still going to continue between China and the United States. We did get news over the weekend also from the BBC. Italy joins China in the new Silk Road project. So Italy joining China. So some news there. Let's go ahead and look at some of the economic news that we need to keep an eye on for the week ahead. This courtesy of the trade exchange. I took a copy of the calendar here. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that Thursday on the 28th at 8:30 we get the GDP coming out. This will be the final GDP, so this will be closely watched for inflation, deflation, and the numbers basically from GDP. That comes out on the 28th, so I just wanted to make sure that I highlighted that so I didn't forget. That's right there on Thursday the 28th. That's going to be closely watched and a big number. Other than that, this calendar coming from the trade exchange. A lot of Fed speak this week. Monday, we get a lot of Fed speak. Tuesday, we have Fed speak going on. Wednesday, we get Fed speak. Thursday, Fed speak. Friday, a little more Fed speak going on. So a lot of Fed speak will be going on this week. And then pretty much it's straightforward as far as the economic numbers, other than the GDP, which I think is the most important thing coming out on Thursday, the 28th. Pretty straightforward. Oil numbers come out on Wednesday. The API oil numbers come out at 4:30 after the bell on Tuesday. So once again, this calendar courtesy of the trade exchange. As far as earnings for the week ahead, Monday you get Winnebago, you get Red Hat, which was bought out by IBM. RHT symbol there will be reporting after the close on Monday. Tuesday before the bell, we have Cronus Group, CRON symbol there. Carnival Cruise Lines will be reporting before the bell on Tuesday. Ollie's, OLLI, after the bell. KB Homes will be reporting after the bell on Tuesday. Lennar, LEN symbol there, another home builder, reporting before the bell on Wednesday. Paychex will be reporting. Lululemon, Canadian company, LULU, reporting earnings after the bell Wednesday, 5 below. Arcadia, Gevo, GEVO, symbol there, will be reporting. Small little stock, but they will be reporting earnings Wednesday after the bell. Restoration Hardware, after the bell on Thursday. Hycar will be reporting. HYRE symbol there, connected with Lyft. So this HYRE will be reporting Thursday after the bell. Boxlight will be reporting. BlackBerry will be reporting Friday before the open, symbol BB there. KMX, CarMax also will be reporting Friday before the bell. This courtesy of Earnings Whisper. We'll go ahead and take a quick look at Bitcoin. Still remains under the 4,000 level as we look at this trading view daily chart. BTC USD symbol here as this weekend very quiet, remaining under that 4,000 level for Bitcoin. So no doubt about it, Friday was a very ugly day for the SPY, but we still are in this trend up. The markets are still below the all-time highs here. We got up to about that 285 level, and then we took a pause here in the markets on Friday. Like I said, due to the global slowdown worries, the inverted yield curve. So we're going to see how that's all going to play out in the week ahead. I'll be coming out with a stocks to watch video for you, so you can take a look at that. And also, if the markets are going to remain weak, well, we'll have to start using some instruments to short the market, and also we'll have to be looking for some stocks that we can short. So there's both ways to make money in the market. If we're going to stay weak, then we'll just play more to the short side. So, the IWM has been kind of giving signals when it couldn't get above the 200 SMA. We've been talking about that on the video. Also, the IWC, same thing. We've been talking about the Dow Jones transports, how that has been moving down while the Dow Jones 30 has been moving up. So if you're a Dow Jones theorist, the transports, you always want to see them moving up in conjunction conjunction with the Dow. That wasn't happening, so that was another signal that maybe there was that diversion between the markets. So the Dow Jones now is below the 50 SMA. The transports here, such names as LUV. We have moving down, the airlines moving down. FedEx, like I said, their earnings came out. That stock not faring very well. All right, so we'll be back out with another video. This is Mike from Zozo Stock Watch. I hope you're more ready for the week ahead. We do have some earnings coming up on our plate this week. We have some important economic numbers coming out this week, and also a lot of Fed speak going on. Should make for a very interesting week.